when the pro-Hamas terrorists, and can I just remind you, Hamas is a terrorist organization. Hamas is a terrorist organization who murdered over 1,000 innocent people at a music festival on October 7th.
The court ruled.
And that's not conjecture, that's not
Trump
allegedly.
can deport him,
they were proud of it. They live streamed it, these barbarians. They live streamed it. They were proud of it. They celebrate it. They still celebrate it. Murdered 1,000 people at this music festival, mostly Jews, mostly Israeli citizens, American citizens too, citizens of multiple nations, then took hostages, have terrorized them for a year and a half now. They still are hanging on to these terrorists, these hostages, these terrorists. So you got these protesters in Columbia University, and they're celebrating, they're running interference for it, they're defending, they're rationalizing these terrorists. And then, of course,
what kind of
they're funded by the same
values
groups that are
these
connected
students
to these terrorists, it appears.
Yeah. 媒体说他们是
And so, of course, they start behaving like
学生
terrorists themselves. Now, they didn't slaughter people.
What did they know? Yeah.
They didn't rape, they didn't burn down, they didn't blow themselves up with suicide vests, but they took over private property, they defaced private property, they occupied private property that was not theirs, they took over the quad at Columbia University, they blockaded it, they would not allow Jewish students to walk peacefully by.
Kick him out, yes.
They occupied a building on the campus, defaced the building, vandalized the building, would not allow people into it. So Columbia faculty, those who weren't on the side of the terrorists,
anti-authoritarians,
and Columbia administrators, they're trying to go to these wannabe Hamas on their campus, and they say, this has to stop. You've got to get out. You can't stay here any longer, and you got to get out of the building. That's not your building. We got to do business here. We got classes here. And you ruined it. Get out.
And they
so
trained
them. Negotiation takes place.
They educated them in that mentality.
They break the law. They terrorize. They take
raised
things that
by
aren't
Columbia
theirs.
and Ivy League
they
and
hold
other
hostages. In this case, they're holding a building hostage. And in a way, they're holding the other students hostage because they won't allow them into the building that they're allowed to go into. So they're
And can you imagine some of these students 不容许犹太人的学生上课 They won't let them go to school. Oh, you're a Jew.
We shall negotiate so that our demands can
isn't
be met
that really
they've created their own position of leverage, right? They have nothing. They don't deserve anything. So instead, they decide to create an imbalanced scenario where suddenly they think they have some position of power, so that the people who actually are righteously in power are forced to negotiate, if they're stupid, Mahmoud Khalil. Now forgive me, but if you were in the position of speaking on behalf of and negotiating for criminal terrorists,
amazing.
You are in fact a criminal terrorist.
他是代表学
He
生
helped egg all of this
从
on.
学校 negotiate.
And the Trump administration said you're no longer
他
welcome
不
here.
是一
You're
个
not
小
a
角戏
citizen. You were here through our
He's an
benevolence.
activist, radical student.
But as you know, when you came here on your student
Pro-terrorist,
visa, and even when
pro-Hamas.
you gained
Enough reason to 踢
semi-permanent
他出去
status, but not citizenship, by marrying an American citizen, you still knew all this time that you were subject to deportation if you do certain things. One of those things, believe it or not, is siding with an enemy of this country. One of those things is consorting with criminals and engaging in criminal behavior. You do that, you get deported. You knew all along that this is what was going to happen because you listened to Mark Levin. I listened to Mark Levin. That's how I knew it was going to happen.
So 这是 Mark Levin 的 show， 这个叫 O'Connor 这个人是 substitute for him， 因为 Mark Levin 是犹太人，他是在纪念这个Passover 逾越节。So anyway， 这个人他说的很有道理 ，and is 美国的律法就是说 ，even though 你是 student， 你有 visa。It doesn't matter. 你娶了一个美国的公民，哎， married an American citizen, it doesn't matter. Okay? Yes, you side with 美国的敌人 enemy of America, like Hamas. You are subject to 美国政府有权利踢走你离开这个美国的 border, 美国的境地. That is what Mark Levin is saying, and that's what he is saying. So there's the full force behind it. So they try to make a ruckus out of it. 将这件事情弄大，他们能够 draw more attention, more sympathy. No, at the end of it, he's still going to be kicked out. The left lost again. 左派又输了，输了这场仗。And that's good, because that sends a message to many other similar, right, activist students. 在美国不是，主要不是在美国念书 ，study or whatever. 他们在美国是搞事 ，troublemakers, instigate problems and riots, and take over buildings. What kind of action is this, right? Unbecoming an American citizen. Enough said.